I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if I am found to be lying, I accept prosecution under the full extent of the sports law. What up, everybody? You know what time it is. Yeah, it's time for Sports in Order. Another great episode on deck for you guys. Hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes. You know, they've been coming. You know, we're not stopping anytime soon. I say this every episode. Each episode of Sports in Order is another day closer to NFL season. And what comes to NFL season? Yeah, fantasy football season. So that's what the show's for, obviously, fantasy football. So we're getting close. I know we're still in that waiting period. It's like, oh, God, another week without football. But trust me, it's coming. It's going to be here very soon. Just remain patient and keep tuning in to Sports in Order because the episodes are going to get better and better. As usual, though, you know, I'm going to let you know, go ahead and do me a favor. Subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. Obviously, Sports in Order is on there. Baseheads, our baseball talk show, our baseball podcast, TTR, Trash Talk Radio, that's Guru and Lestro. They got some good things going on over there. And then Guru's Film Room. Guru has, I don't know if you guys have met Guru or know Guru, but yeah, Guru's got some good things going on over there as well. So, you know, just the World of Sports Network team, we really appreciate it. Go ahead and do us a favor and just subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. Greatly appreciated. Today on Sports in Order, I'm going to tell you 5 facts from each position from the 2017 fantasy football season that could help you in the 2018 fantasy football season. You could use these facts, you could not use these facts. It's up to you, but I'm just going to tell you these facts about five facts from each position, and that should help you with your when you draft and which players you choose to draft and how you choose to draft. Then I'm going to bring Carmelo Anthony into the interrogation room again. I believe this would be Carmelo Anthony's second time in the interrogation room. Wow. First time ever having somebody in the interrogation room 2 times. And then, of course, we end what's the case on the base with my players to add in fantasy baseball. Well, with that being said, you know the drill. No time to waste. Let's get right to it. All right, I'm going to give you quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. I'm going to give you 5 facts from last year that happened in 2017, and you could use those facts, and those facts can help you and help you determine if you want to draft that player or this player, what position you want to draft or how you want to draft that position. Just use these facts for when you draft your team for 2018. I'll start with the quarterback position. All right, ready? Listen to this. Now, you guys, I always emphasize, wait on a quarterback. You don't need to draft a quarterback. There's no need to draft the Tom Brady in the first round. There's no need to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Ready? Every year since 2014, Tom Brady in weeks 13 to 16 has gone through a slump. And you guys know weeks 13 through 16, that's like the fantasy football playoffs. That's the stretch run. You need your quarterback for weeks 13 and week 16. So check these numbers out. Ready? In 2014, weeks 13 through week 16, Tom Brady was the 14th ranked quarterback in points per game. Up until that point, he was the 7th ranked quarterback. So he went from 7th to 14th. Okay. 2015, weeks 13 to week 16, Tom Brady was the 8th ranked quarterback. Up until that point, he was the number 1 ranked quarterback in fantasy football. 2016, weeks 13 to week 16, Tom Brady was the 9th ranked quarterback in points per game. Up until that point, he was the second ranked quarterback in points per game. And then just last year, weeks 13 to week 16, Tom Brady was the 20th ranked quarterback. Up until that point, he was the 4th ranked quarterback in points per game. So go ahead. Draft Tom Brady in the first or the second round. And then watch when weeks 13 and weeks 13 through 16 comes and Tom Brady lets you down. Like I just showed you the evidence of the numbers for the past 4 seasons. There's no need to draft Tom Brady or any quarterback in the first or second round. It's that simple. Last season, a quarterback who went undrafted in more than 50% of ESPN leagues finished as a top 10 quarterback 89 times. Finished as a top 10 quarterback for the week, 89 times. A quarterback that wasn't even drafted in fantasy football. A quarterback that wasn't even drafted in fantasy football in 50% of ESPN fantasy football leagues. Finished as a top 10 quarterback 89 times. Get this stat, ready? Last season, quarterbacks that were drafted in more than 50% of ESPN leagues finished as a top 10 quarterback 81 times. What? So the undrafted quarterbacks in 50% of the leagues finished as a top 10 quarterback 89 times. But the quarterbacks that were drafted in 50% of the leagues finished as a top 10 quarterback only 81 times. You see what I'm saying? Wait on a quarterback. If you don't even want, you can even not draft a quarterback if you don't want to. You can still get a good quarterback in the later rounds or on the waiver wires. Just check the matchups. It's that simple. Over the last 3 seasons, Kirk Cousins has a 70% completion rate off play action plays. You know what a play action play is, where you turn around, fake the ball to the handoff, or fake the ball to the running back, fake the handoff to the running back, and then throw to a receiver, tight end, whoever you want to throw it to. That's the best in the NFL. You know Dalvin Cook, the running back for the Vikings last year, who was a stud until he got hurt. Yeah, he's gonna that play action with Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook. That's gonna open up a lot of more holes for Dalvin Cook and Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen on the outside. So, my point is, draft Kirk Cousins and draft all the skill position players on the Vikings. And here we go, another stat for the quarterbacks. This is it, right? This is it. I'm sorry. It's the same stat for the Kirk Cousins. It's a stat about Kirk Cousins and actually the Vikings. Last season, the Vikings running backs and pass catchers led the league in reception yards and receptions off play actions. So Kirk Cousins, I just told you all his numbers and his high rates off play action plays. The Vikings receivers and running backs led the NFL in receptions and reception yards off play action. There you go. Kirk Cousins and the receivers that they got in Minnesota plus Dalvin Cook. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's talk about some running backs. Last season, Todd Gurley became the 5th running back in the last 10 years to score 19 touchdowns in a season. Todd Gurley is the Rams offense. He is the Rams offense. But just be a little bit cautious with the hype, because only one of those other 4 running backs that have scored 19 touchdowns in a season, only one of them scored more than 8 touchdowns the next season. That's how hard it is to score 19 touchdowns 2 seasons in a row. But I think Todd Gurley has what it takes to repeat those numbers again this season, because 1, like I said, he is the Rams offense. The Rams offense goes through him and is built around him. And 2, Sean McVay. What a brilliant play caller Sean McVay is. Last year, despite being tied for 24th in total touches, Alvin Kamara led all running backs with 35 touches that gained 15 plus yards. Alvin Kamara was only 24th in touches, but led all running backs with 35 touches that gained at least 15 yards. I'm telling you, man, this Alvin Kamara kid with the ball in his hands, he's special. Now with Mark Ingram being suspended for the first 4 games, he is the New Orleans Saints offense. They're going to get him the ball every play. Now instead of being ranked 24th in touches, Alvin Kamara might be top 3 when it comes to total touches. 4, ready? Listen to this. Here's the list of running backs with at least 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns in each of the past 3 seasons. Devontae Freeman. That's it. Only one running back in the past 3 seasons has had at least 1,100 yards and 18 touchdowns in all 3 of those seasons. And that's Devontae Freeman. Devontae Freeman, man, very underrated, very underappreciated. But I'm not a huge fan of Devontae Freeman as a top 10 running back because of Tevin Coleman. You know, Tevin Coleman takes a lot of pass-catching opportunities away from Devontae Freeman. Plus, Devontae Freeman's been a little nicked up with the concussions and just the nagging injuries. But again, Devontae Freeman's consistent. You can't go wrong with him. 3 straight seasons of 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Only running back in the league to do that. Can't go wrong with Devontae Freeman. Jerick McKinnon, one of 6 running backs with at least 150 carries and 40 receptions the last 2 seasons. Now with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, who last season, the 49ers ranked top 5 in the NFL in running back receptions, running back targets, running back reception yards in the entire NFL. Jerick McKinnon going to the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan, who targets the hell out of his running backs. Oh, man. When Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta with the Falcons, for 2 years, the Falcons were 8th in running back receptions, 5th in running back reception yards, and they led the NFL in running back red zone reception yards and 2nd in running back red zone receptions. Again, Jerick McKinnon, only one of 6 running backs to have 150 carries and 40 catches in the last 2 seasons. Now, again, going to Kyle Shanahan's offense where he loves throwing the ball to the running back, Jerick McKinnon can flirt, and I'm not kidding about this. He's definitely RB2. He could flirt with RB1 numbers in a PPR league. Jerick McKinnon and Kyle Shanahan, that's a beautiful match right there. Let's talk about some wide receivers now. Over the past 3 seasons, only Antonio Brown has scored more touchdowns than Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin? You wouldn't think that, yeah. In the past 3 seasons, only Antonio Brown has scored more touchdowns than Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin, in the last 3 seasons, is second in the NFL in touchdowns. Crazy, right? Over the past 3 seasons, Doug Baldwin is 8th, has the 8th most receptions in the NFL over the last 3 seasons. Doug Baldwin, 8th most receptions. People don't talk about Doug Baldwin, but Doug Baldwin is like Devontae Freeman as the running back. Doug Baldwin is as consistent as they come at the wide receiver position. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Doug Baldwin this year because Seattle's going to be more of a run-first offense. At least that's what Pete Carroll said. So, you got to be cautious with Doug Baldwin, but he scores touchdowns. In the red zone, especially with them losing Jimmy Graham, Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson, if he's going to throw the ball, it's going to be to Doug Baldwin. If it's third down and they're throwing the ball, it's going to be to Doug Baldwin. So, again, I don't think Seattle's going to throw as much as they've been throwing in the past, but when they do throw, the ball's going to Doug Baldwin. Okay, ready? Listen to this for Amari Cooper. This is going to help Amari Cooper. Check this out. Under John Gruden, from 2005 to 2007, Joey Galloway with the Tampa Bay Bucks accounted for 34.5% of Tampa Bay's reception yards, which is the 3rd highest rate in the NFL during that time. In 2008, under John Gruden, Antonio Bryant accounted for 33% of Tampa Bay's reception yards. That was the 8th highest rate during that season. You know who John Gruden's number 1 receiver is this year in Oakland? Amari Cooper. Yes, Amari Cooper has been inconsistent. Hasn't lived up to the first-round draft status, the first-round draft pedigree. Hasn't lived up to it. But what Amari Cooper has shown is flashes and potential. I think John Gruden is the coach that's going to get the most potential out of Amari Cooper. In Amari Cooper's 22 career games with 8+ targets, he's averaged 18 points per game. John Gruden, he's going to target Amari Cooper. I can see every game Amari Cooper having at least 8 targets. The numbers say when Amari Cooper gets his 8 targets, 18 points a game. Fantasy points a game for Amari Cooper. Last season, Michael Crabtree, Cordell Patterson, and Clive Walford combined for 42% of Oakland's red zone targets. All 3 of those players aren't on the Raiders anymore. Yes, still have Jordy Nelson. They got Jordy Nelson. They got Martavis Bryant. But John Gruden loves his number 1 receiver. Every team he's been on, the one receiver, at least one receiver, has had 1,000 yards receiving. It's Amari Cooper's offense now in Oakland. Amari Cooper is John Gruden's number 1 receiver. All right, tight end time. Last time the Packers had a top 10 fantasy tight end was 2011. This year, you know who they got? Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's going to finish as a top 10 tight end for the Packers with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. No doubt in my mind. We can even see Jimmy Graham finishing as a top 5 tight end just based off his touchdowns. Jimmy Graham's going to get looks in the red zone. You could bet on Aaron Rodgers targeting Jimmy Graham in the red zone. Here's the entire list of tight ends to have at least 5 touchdowns in each of the last 3 seasons. Kyle Rudolph. That's it. Just Kyle Rudolph. Here's a list of tight ends to have at least 7 reception touchdowns in each of the past 2 seasons. Kyle Rudolph. That's it. Since 2015, Kirk Cousins, who will be Kyle Rudolph's quarterback now in Minnesota, ranks 1st in completions, 3rd in completion percentage, and 3rd in passing yards, and 5th in touchdown passes to the tight end position. Oh, baby. I just read you Kyle Rudolph's numbers. Now I tell you what Kirk Cousins likes to do and his numbers to the tight end position. Telling you, you're sleeping on Kyle Rudolph. He can have a big year with Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball. From 2014 to 2016, those 3 years, only Tom Brady averaged more touchdowns, passes to the tight end position. Tom Brady, I didn't finish the sentence, my bad. From 2014 to 2016, only Tom Brady has averaged more touchdowns to the tight end position than Andrew Luck. It was Tom Brady and then Andrew Luck when it comes to throwing touchdown passes to the tight end position. You know who the tight end is now? In Indianapolis, well, they got 2. Jack Doyle, and they added Eric Ebron, who, again, another one that hasn't lived up to his potential as a first-round pick, but he has shown potential and flashes. In 2 years with the Eagles as their offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, who is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts and will be calling plays for Andrew Luck, when he was the offensive coordinator in Philly for 2 years, the Eagles led the NFL in receptions by tight ends and third in reception yards from tight ends. Now they got Eric Ebron and Jack Doyle. Now you know what Jack Doyle's done. He's been pretty consistent in the past 2 seasons in fantasy football. But now they got Eric Ebron. They're going to use a lot of 2 tight end sets. Draft Jack Doyle as your tight end or Eric Ebron as your tight end. Because I think they're both going to eat. Frank Reich's going to get them the ball, and Andrew Luck loves targeting the tight ends. Take a look at the tight ends in Indianapolis. They can help you out big time. All right, guys. I hope those 5 facts from each position, helped you out with your future draft, your 2018 fantasy football draft. Remember, don't draft a quarterback until the later rounds, 8th round, 9th round, 10th round, or don't even draft a quarterback and just pick up a quarterback weekly based off the matchups. I read you the numbers, man. Last season, undrafted quarterbacks in 50% of the leagues, so that's half the leagues, undrafted quarterbacks finished as a top 10 quarterback, a weekly top 10 quarterback, 89 times. And the drafted quarterbacks in 50% of leagues, half of the leagues, finishes a top 10 quarterback, a weekly top 10 quarterback, 81 times. That's it, man. Don't draft Tom Brady in the 1st or 2nd round. Don't do it, because Tom Brady, as the numbers show, every year when weeks 13 through week 16 comes and shows up, fantasy playoff weeks, mind you, Tom Brady goes from either the 1st or the 2nd ranked quarterback to somewhere in the double digits. 12th ranked quarterback, 14th ranked quarterback, 16th ranked quarterback. Last year, 19th ranked quarterback. So you can't count it. You might have Tom Brady for the first 12 weeks, getting you to the playoffs. But once the playoffs come, Tom Brady is nowhere to be found. So again, don't draft Tom Brady in the 1st round or the 2nd round, because it's not worth it. Because it's not going to help you win a fantasy football championship. And then with the tight ends, Kyle Rudolph. People don't talk about, I got to get Gronk. I got to get Travis Kelce. I got to get Greg Olsen. Yeah, they're great to have, but Kyle Rudolph, only tight end in the past 2 seasons to have at least 7 touchdowns. Only tight end in the past 3 seasons to have at least 5 touchdowns. Kyle Rudolph is very, very reliable at the tight end position. He'll score you the touchdowns. Plus with Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball, Kirk Cousins, I read you his numbers, loves throwing the ball to the tight end. Kyle Rudolph is a great tight end to have on your fantasy team. And then with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to be I'm telling you, I think Amari Cooper is going to finish as a top 7 wide receiver this year in fantasy football. But people are sleeping on him because the past few seasons, he hasn't really done much. He's been inconsistent. Had a couple blow-up games. Then he has games where he doesn't show up. But I think this year that John Gruden, he's going to get the most out of Amari Cooper. And we can see him finish as a top 7 wide receiver, potentially even a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football. All right, with that being said, it's the interrogation room. Time for the interrogation room. Again, I'm bringing Carmelo Anthony into the interrogation room for the 2nd time. First time ever somebody's been in the interrogation room 2 times. Must have got the attorney mad. Carmelo, step in, bro. Melo, you want some water? A cup of coffee? You're good? All right. What's going on with you, bro? Talk to me. Talk to the attorney. You don't want to come off the bench. That's the first thing you tell me. Yeah, it's funny because that's the beef I have with you. You were just on TV the other day. It might have been yesterday. It might have been this morning. I don't know. But I heard you say in the interview, I'm not coming off the bench. I'm not doing it. I know how to play the game of basketball. When my role says it's time for me to go to the bench, I'll go to the bench. But right now, that's not my role. What? That is your role, Melo. You're a bench player now. Now let me rephrase this. If you want to be on a contending team, you want to be on a team that's not just contending for the playoffs, but contending for a championship, you got to come off the bench, bro. Because let's look at the team you're going to. You're going to the Houston Rockets, correct? Now, they got their 2 guys. They got their 2 superstars, Chris Paul and James Harden. That's cool. Now, you actually probably could start for the Rockets. You probably will start for the Rockets at the 3 or the 4. Either way, you're going to be on the wing. That's where you're going to be playing. But here's why I think you should come off the bench. Because what made Houston so good last year, yes, they scored a lot. James Harden was the MVP. Chris Paul had a hell of a season. But what made Houston good and able to compete with Golden State was their defense. Houston was great defensively last year. Now losing Mbama Moute and Trevor Ariza and subtracting those players and adding you, that makes, in my opinion, that makes the Rockets worse. But okay, whatever. Houston wants to do it, no problem. But my point is, that's why the Rockets, who have PJ Tucker, he should be the starter at the 3. PJ Tucker should be the starter at the small forward position. And you should come off the bench when the Rockets need you to just come off the bench and score and put the ball in the basket. Because you're the type of player that's going to affect the Rockets negatively and become a liability for them defensively. But you don't think you're at that point where you should come off the bench yet. I guess you don't understand what it takes to win a championship. Evidenced by last season, how you couldn't even fit into OKC. You couldn't fit into being the perfect number 3 option. You had everything handed to you in OKC. But then yesterday you come on the air in your interview, wherever I read it. I forget where I read it at. And you saying that, just wasn't a good fit in OKC. I had to figure everything out on my own. Nobody was there to help me and teach me how to do things and how to do... What? You're a 15-year veteran. You've been in the NBA for 15 years. You scored a lot of points. You've seen a lot of basketball. You played a lot of basketball. You need somebody to teach you how to be a spot-up shooter? That's all you had to do last year in OKC. Stand at the three-point line, wait for Russell to penetrate, and then kick you out the ball, shoot the 3. Or one pump fake and shoot a mid-range shot. That's it. All you had to do was catch and shoot. You couldn't even do that. And then you complain that you don't know how to do it. Throwing your coaches under the bus. Throwing your teammates under the bus because they didn't teach you how to be a spot-up shooter. They didn't teach a 15-year future Hall of Famer how to be a spot-up shooter. Melo, that's so ignorant and so... You're as being a prima donna, bro. You're being a baby, and you're just trying to find excuses. Yeah, it didn't work in OKC, but it wasn't because of the coaches. It wasn't because of Russell. It wasn't because of Paul George. It was because of you. You didn't knock down shots. You had plenty of wide-open shots that you didn't knock down, plus you were a liability on defense. It's that simple. Last year, you became the first player in NBA history to shoot 40% from the field when getting at least 15 shot attempts per night. You got 15 shot attempts per night. That's how many shot attempts per night you average. And you shot 40% from the field. First player ever in history of the NBA to do that. And you're sitting here saying, I'm not a bench player. I'm not coming off the bench. Nah. What? Melo. You're sitting here saying it was a bad fit. They didn't teach you what to do. You got 15 shots a night, Melo. 15 shots per night. That's a lot of shots on a nightly basis. For some, that's the third option, mind you. And you shot 40% from the field, and you're going to sit here and complain and try to find people to blame and make excuses. No, Melo, it's just you, bro. You're not Melo anymore. You're Carmelo Anthony. No doubt about it, Melo. You're a future Hall of Famer. One of the best scorers the NBA has ever seen. Over 25,000 points in your career. Multiple-time All-Star. An Olympic gold medalist multiple times. A college, an NCAA champion. You're a basketball legend. Nobody will take that away from you, Carmelo. But you're not Melo anymore. That's what we need. That's what you don't understand. You have this ego where you think you should still be the guy, and you're not the guy anymore. You're just not the guy, and it's okay to understand that. D Wade, your banana boat buddy, your best buddy, he understands. He's not the guy anymore. He's okay with. He's accepted the fact. He's had a hell of a career. Mind you, he's won his championships, but still, even without the championships, D Wade has had a hell of a career. Future Hall of Famer. Now it's just time for him to be a background guy. Come off the bench, help out the younger teammates, be a veteran, be a good leader, be a good guy in the locker room. Why can't you be like that, Melo? What? You don't even have any championships, and D-Wade has 3, and he's willing to come off the bench. But you have no championships, and you're not willing to come off the bench. Why? Because you could score. You didn't score last year. Good fit or bad fit. You got the shot attempts. You didn't score. You think LeBron James will grant? This is LeBron James' greatest player, one of the greatest players ever, if not the greatest. I guarantee you, if LeBron James, whoever his coach was or whoever his GM was, he's a free agent. Okay, he signed with the Lakers. And the Lakers told him, we love you, LeBron. We want you to come. Now, guys, listen, this will never happen. I'm just theoretically, hypothetically, whichever way you want to look at it. LeBron James is coming to the Lakers or taking his free agent visits, and the few teams that he wants to sign with say, listen, LeBron, we'd love to have you, bro. But we're trying to develop the young core. We don't think you fit into being the guy on this team. We don't think you fit into being the 30-point per game scorer on this team. Would you be willing to come off the bench? Now, with everything LeBron James has accomplished, with all the championships he's won, all the scoring, all the points, all the MVPs, all the finals MVPs, I would bet a lot of money that LeBron James would say, you know what? For the betterment of the team, to try to help this team win and try to win another championship, I'll come off the bench. And this is LeBron James we're talking about. I can guarantee he would have no problem coming off the bench if it meant contributing to a winning basketball team. Melo, you couldn't contribute to a winning basketball team as a starter. What makes you think you can contribute to the Houston Rockets, who are one game away from the NBA Finals, as a starter? Exactly, you can't. So Melo, I'm going to take it easy on you. I love you. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm your guy. You're my guy. I love the Knicks. but you're not Melo anymore. You're Carmelo Anthony. You're not a starting player on a championship contending team. You could be the best sixth man to ever live. Carmelo Anthony. If that doesn't entice you, man, you could be the most legendary sixth man to ever live. Like you did in the Olympics in 2012. I believe you started on that team. I'm pretty sure you started on that team. But all you did was you were a sniper on that team. You were a three-point catch-and-shoot player. Spot-up three-point shooter on that Olympic team. And it got you a gold medal, bro. It got you a gold medal. You could do that same, you could play that same type of role and do those same type of things on the Houston Rockets and potentially win an NBA championship. At least compete for an NBA championship. Something you haven't done, something you haven't really had the chance to do in your entire NBA career. So, if winning a championship means anything to you at this stage of your career, Carmelo, I think you got to come off the bench, bro. I think you have to come off the bench. Or if you're going to be a starter, forget the scoring and focus on defense. That's the only two options. That's my two ultimatums for you. You're signing with the Rockets. Everybody knows that. Okay. You want to come off the bench and you want to score? You want to focus on scoring? Fine. Come off the bench as the sixth man. We don't have to really worry about defense as much. You can just worry about putting the ball in the basket. If that's what you want to do, if scoring is all you care about, fine. Come off the bench. You can score all you want and shoot all you want. But if you care about starting and winning a championship, that's cool. You got to play defense. Forget about the scoring. If you're in that starting lineup for Houston, Chris Paul and James Harden, those are the scores. You focus on defense, locking up your matchup and whoever you're guarding, and knocking down the open shots when you get past the ball. None of the demanding the ball in the post, none of the bully ball and the backing down your opponent and the crossovers and the jab step. None of that. None of that. Learn how to play your role. Because Carmelo Anthony, at this stage of your career, bro, you're a role player. Face the facts. That's it. Get out of the interrogation room. Yeah, guys, I hate to tell Carmelo Anthony. I hate to tell him. I had to tell him. I hate to tell him like that, but you got to give the man tough love. That's my guy. I love Melo, but tough love is what he needs right now. He's not Melo anymore. It's Carmelo Anthony, a good player, but not a superstar, not even a star player, role player. And if he wants to compete for a championship, he has to learn how to be a role player, or else he'll go down as one of the greatest players ever to never win a championship. It's cool. He's a Hall of Famer, but if he has some pride and he really has some heart and some solitude up here and mental fortitude, yeah, he's got to win that championship, or at least compete for a championship. And by doing that, and by competing for a championship, the best way for him to do that, become a role player and become the best role player and the best sixth man he could ever be and that's ever lived. It's that simple. All right, guys, you know what time it is now. Time to finish with what's the case on the base with my players to add in fantasy baseball. Number 1, Ervin Santana. Ervin Santana just came off the disabled list and made his debut. You know, Ervin Santana plays for the Twins, if you guys didn't know that. Pitcher for the Twins. Came off the DL, made his debut last week against the Tampa Bay Blue Jays. Looked pretty good. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. Solid outing. It was first outing in all season. Hasn't pitched all season. So, you know, you got to get Ervin Santana right now because I think he's going to continue to pitch better as he gets more starts. Last season, he did have 16 wins. And the last 2 seasons combined, he has a 3.32 ERA. So, Ervin Santana can pitch. It's just, are the Twins going to let him pitch? Because the Twins, you know, they're almost out of it. So, but if Ervin Santana is still pitching, pick him up because he's going to give you some good numbers. Number 2, Nick Kingman, pitcher for the Pirates. He's won each of his past 3 starts, and all 3 of those starts have been quality starts. Great control, only 14 walks overall, and 54 strikeouts on the season. Again, the Pirates are a team that doesn't really score many runs, but Nick Kingman's giving you the strikeouts, not walking many batters, giving you quality starts. He's won each of his past 3 of them, so he's getting you the wins. Take a look at Nick Kingman, pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Number 3, Robinson Cano. He's on his way back. He's starting a rehab assignment August 1st. So he's going to be there, I think they said 2 weeks, then because he's eligible to come back from the suspension August 14th. But the problem with Robbie Cano is that he's not eligible for the postseason. But that doesn't mean the Mariners aren't going to try to use him to get into the postseason. Mariners aren't stupid. They know Robbie Cano can hit. He's too talented of a hitter to be on the bench. Even though D. Gordon is going to remain the starting second baseman, Robbie Cano is going to get his at-bats. Whether it be a DH, whether they teach him how to play at first base or the outfield, doesn't matter. Robbie Cano, again, is too talented to not get at-bats. And the Mariners are trying to make the postseason for the first time since 2001. So the Mariners, even though Robinson Cano can't play in the postseason, the Mariners are going to use his bat to get into the postseason. Help them get into the postseason. Number 4, Jason Hayward. He's been the Cubs' number 3 hitter against righties, which means a lot of RBI chances. He's hitting 284 compared to last year when he hit 259 and the year before when he hit 230. So as Jason Hayward's getting older, he's getting better. And again, hitting third against righties, a lot of RBI chances. So, Jason Hayward doesn't really hit for much power, doesn't steal as many bases as he used to, but he's hitting for a solid average, and the RBI chances and the RBI opportunities are there. So take a look at picking up Jason Hayward. Number 5, Rough Ned Odor from the Rangers. He's heating up, man. He's heating up in that Texas heat. He's hitting 260, 7 home runs, 28 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases. He's only played 73 games this season. He was on the disabled list for most of the season. But last year, he did hit 30 home runs. But the home run numbers are so low because, again, he missed a lot of time on the DL. But, again, with last year, hit 30 home runs. He has the potential to hit a lot of home runs in a short period of time. He has tremendous power. Plus, playing in Texas, at Texas, that's where he plays his home games. In that Texas heat, the ball flies out of the park. So, as the summer continues, Rough Ned Odor might continue to hit some home runs, maybe reach 30 again. I doubt it, but he's at 7 right now. But Rough Ned Odor, if you're looking for some power and some home runs, take a look at him. And number 6, Kirby Yates, Padres. He's now the closer for the Padres with them trading Brad Hand. And even before Brad Hand was traded, Kirby Yates had a 1.40 ERA, 50-11 strikeout per walk ratio, and 38 innings. He could even get traded to a better team and get more save opportunities, and maybe become the setup man wherever team he gets traded to. But right now, Kirby Yates is the closer for the Padres. And Padres aren't a great team, but saves are saves. So if you're looking for somebody to help you in the saves department, in the saves category, take a look at Kirby Yates, who is now the full-time closer for the San Diego Padres. All right, that's about it. We're waiting for the sentencing and the verdict from the jury. All right, it's coming now. Thank you. All right. The verdict is in. You guys ready for it? All right. You guys have all been sentenced to 25 years to life of eating buffalo wings, drinking ice-cold beer, and enjoying sports. This is Sports in Order. I'm the attorney at Sports. This is my courtroom, and the jury's out. Peace. See you next time.